Now, here goes your cultural shock for the rest of the morning. We're over to East Antrim, and I did ask if they could subtitle this, but they said no. So you'll have to bear with me. I'll try and talk as slow as I possibly can. My name's Adrian Morrow, as it said there. Jason, thank you very much. And I was just thinking that will be a myth after I'm done, because you'll be all be saying, what was that all about? So that'll be your first myth for the morning. I'm the estate manager up at Glenarm. We're farmers, really. We spent most of our working lifetime as farmers, but we've had to diversify to try and keep the place afloat. So over the years, we've been diversifying to different types of activities, some of which you possibly could have go 10 rounds with Mike Tyson easier than some of the things that we try and do. But anyway, turn it right way around. This is our motto, Tour Je Pet. It's the family's motto at Glenarm. Always ready, it means it couldn't be farther away from the truth. But we try. Now, at Glenarm, way too quick. We spent quite a bit of time doing restoration of our garden there. And after a 15-year restoration, because it was used as the animal hospital for all the sick cows some 20 years ago, we refurbished it back to its tradition. It was a formal stroke vegetable garden that supplied vegetables to the house. So it's currently open to the public now throughout the season. We indulge in some corporate events, and I could tell you a wee quick funny story about our first corporate event. The family rushed off to some holiday in Switzerland, and the phone rang, and it was this German managing director from a wallpaper company in Germany. And he says, you do conferences at Glenarm? And I said, who gave this boy our phone number? Where did this come from? And I says, yes, we might do that, yes. And he says, can you book us in? We would love to come to have our conference. And I took the booking. I knew the family was away. It was a chance to earn a few pounds to try and keep the roof on. And to my utmost shock, the day they were due to arrive, they sent an email to the secretary to say that they would be arriving at the hotel at whatever time that morning. And once I heard the word hotel, I had an absolute panic attack, because it suddenly dawned on me they thought they were coming to a hotel. Couldn't be farther away from the truth. Anyway, when they arrived, I had phoned the local hotel in Carnlough, the Londonderry Arms, and asked if they could facilitate these people, because there might be a bit of a misunderstanding. They said that would be fine. When they arrived, the first German guest came in. He says, where is the reception? I says, I'm afraid we don't have one of those. And another one says, where are all the other guests? And I says, there are no other guests. And I said, I'm afraid I have to tell you something. There's been a bit of a misunderstanding. And he says, you mean to say we are in someone else's house? And I says, yes, you are. Oh, he says, this is wonderful. We've never had this experience before. So they wanted to stay, and stay they did. And when they went to leave, the managing director said to me, do you have a TV? And I says, no, I'm afraid we don't have one of those either. And I was worried, because I thought he wanted to see some teletext to see if his flight was on time. And he says, it's amazing. I've been here for 2 days. I never once look for a TV. If I go travel around the world and I go to a hotel, if they don't have CNN, I check out. I've been here 2 days, never see a TV. So that was my first experience with the conference. We've done about 3 since. Village regeneration. This is quite important to us, because if you're familiar with Glenarm, we are really only a step to the other side of the river, to the village. So we work very closely with the village, and we try and facilitate and try and bring business to the area and try and bring people into the area. Everybody drives through Glenarm, and we stand there on the bridge and just wave everybody going over. So our ambition is to try to get people to stop in Glenarm, get out of the car, take a look around. So the whole village regeneration is very important to us. We transferred over to organic farming. Food is another issue we try and deal with because we were doing some type of food events that people came to the house. These guests would say, "Oh, are we having your own beef?" And so, no, you couldn't eat our beef. You know, so tough. So it sort of dawned on us, why are we, feeding these people somebody else's beef? We can't eat our own. So about 5 years ago, we took the decision to get rid of all our commercial cattle and start to farm for flavour, and that's been very successful for us. Shooting and conservation is another part, because it's a parkland, there's so much goes on there. Shooting has been very successful for us. The terrain suits it very well. So we do have parties, comes mainly from London and all across the UK, Italy and France comes to shoot with us and so forth. And those are a very high spend, low volume. Those are the ones we like. Land and river management, we do fishing and so forth and so on. Foremost, I'm always told it's a family home. So we are limited to what we can do. The family, that is their home, that's where they live, it's their house. So each time we do something, we need to go to them to get their permission. Garden is open from April to September, 7 days a week. And we have a traditional tea room where we try and put our beef and our lamb, and of course the salmon all through that as well. Guided tours of the house is available if you book the tour in advance and the family are not in residence, as well as the walled garden. We can give those our guided tours. And a series of garden events then throughout the season. This was our beef. We won a gold star award for it last year. And we supply some of the hotels and restaurants in Belfast with that product, shorthorn organic beef. Garden events, this is us crossing over into the events. Now, the garden itself, that's the frustrating thing about Glenarm, because as I said earlier, everybody drives through. So in order to get them to stop, you have to put on some sort of events. You can't just sit in your hands and hope they'll come, because they won't come. They'll just drive straight by. The road is so set that way. And the other problem we face is because of where we're located, we're the first of the 9 glens, so they're just still rushing to get to the Giant's Causeway. And when they get up there and do the Carrick Reed rope bridge, they have to rush all the way back to get to the hotel. So we're a wee bit too close to Belfast and a wee bit too far away, if that makes sense. So some of the events that we then do is we do Ireland's only Tulip Festival, which I'm aware quite a stressful event, even though it's only flowers. But it's one of the most stressful ones we have, because just when they're absolutely perfect and at their best, big sleet showers we talk about in East Antrim can come along and just knock the heads of every single tulip. And there you are at the gate trying to ask for £5 to see your lovely tulips. So you can imagine how that one goes down. No matter how hard you try to accommodate, you can't do anything about a big East Antrim sleet shower at the wrong time. But thankfully, touch wood, we've been very lucky this last few years. Last year was our biggest year. I think we had 3,500 people turned up for that. These are other events that we do. I haven't had time to work out why we're doing Wimbledon in the garden. I think it's a big screen, and you can come and have your tea and coffee and watch the finals. I don't know anything about tennis, but some of the girls know, so it'd be a great idea. Teddy Bear's Picnic. We're doing a book fair, summer craft fair, and opera, which is one of my favourite events. Opera in East Antrim is absolutely very entertaining. And the other thing we do is the Christmas experience, another very stressful event. You can tell when you do your events, because that's the time that people run through the garden naked, climb up trees, and show the early signs of senile dementia. And that's only our staff. Highland Games then is one that we've sort of been doing for a few years, and this is where it all goes wrong for us sometimes. Totally weather dependent again. You can plan all you like, but you can't plan for the weather. Along comes the big shower again. Thankfully it's not sleet, but the land gets into quite a mess. Last year we came up with the concept of, we changed the concept slightly from the Highland Games to a Dalriada festival, which takes in what's unique about the area. We have so much to offer in the Glens. We have rowing and shanty and hurley. The food is absolutely amazing in the Glens. So we wanted to widen out. We run that event inside the walls at Glenarm, the Highland Games. It wasn't really much good to the village or the people outside the walls. So the whole idea was to try to spread the event over a longer time and showcase what was unique about the Glens, Glenarm and Carnlough and that particular area. So I think this was what we done last year. We wanted to work right across both sectors of the community. That's really important for us. We pride ourselves in trying to work with community relations. And as you see, we got the lamb beg and the hurling sticks there. And we launched the event in Glasgow. And we were lucky to get to Glasgow alive that day. This wee chap come up the street and he says, "Hey, you boys, what are you doing?" He says, "I could hear a lamb beggar above in the street." He says, "I come up to see what was going on." Then he says, "I see two boys with hurley sticks." He says, "What the hell's it all about?" So there was a large crowd gathering, but I think they were gathering for the wrong reason. But anyway, they knew all about the Dalriada festival before we left. So at the festival, I said food was quite important for us, and Jenny Bristow came and done some showcasing the local produce. And food was important, so we've got probably 100 people, all local, come along and showcase their produce. We embarked on a big concert, which was, say, like taking 10 rounds with Mike Tyson. This was, it was very successful, but it rained constantly for the 2 days of the event. We had the priests along, and UTV was our media partner for the event, and it was a great evening. Oh, what's he doing on there? I think he might be our next year's, or this year's, he's playing this year at the Dalriada Festival up at Glenarm. This is one of our car parks, so there is an opportunity. You know, it's a strange market, this one. It is local, yes, but it does go wider afield now with the social network that's available. Corporate events, weddings, we do some small conferences, as I said earlier, about 3 a year, maybe 3 and 5. Tailor-made corporate events, this was something that because of the economic climate now, there's not as many corporate events around, but there are still a few. They're very important to what we do, and we've just embarked on doing the odd casual wedding. This is just our layout here, and as I said earlier, one of our biggest issues was the weather, so we've decided to make our Dalriada Festival Highland Games this year weatherproof. And we're moving to hard surfaces in our courtyards and stable blocks at the back and making it more condensed around the house there. This is another event that is coming to the Glens. They're going to get a bit of show in Glenarm this year, and I see Mrs. Steenson up there. I don't know where she's aware or not, but we've got 16,000 Christians coming to Glenarm in June. Everybody seems to be happy except for the publicans. I'm not sure they'll do a lot of business that week, but they're there for a week, 16,000 of them. They're all going to need fed and supported by our only shop that's left, so he's in for a busy week. One of the other things we do is we do some film location stuff. This is the one, if you can get it, it's Money for Old Rope. It's really, really good. And we had Jimmy Nesbitt and Liam Neeson made a wee programme a couple of years ago. And the guy on the right here, he's our maintenance chief operator here. Maureen, your husband. Say hello to him there. Village regeneration. Then the tourism aspect and the regeneration, we're very passionate about this. We're very fortunate that Glenarm has been chosen as one of the only projects in Ireland under has foundation. Help me out here, Maureen. It's the British. The Prince's Trust Regeneration is the word I'm looking for. Excuse my forgetfulness. So it's the only project of its kind in Ireland. And we reckon that it's going to be very significant, because if we ever get to the stage where we get on the ground, it's about like the Causeway, the Giant's Causeway, it'll take years to get to where we actually start doing the building work. But we're hoping that that'll come along in the next couple of years. We hope then that Glenarm will be a showcase for the rest of Ireland. Visitors will come to Glenarm to see what has actually happened in Glenarm. Hopefully we might have more than one shop by that time and 6 pubs. And it will be widened out, and more economic, sustainable, and the village will be regenerated. So it's breathing life into the real community again. And there was the jolly bunch of guys whenever we had a visit from His Royal Highness. Challenges faced by us, and as I said earlier, we're the first and the last of the 9 glens. It's very frustrating for us when you're standing out there and all the coach parties go right past Glenarm. You just wave them hello and goodbye at the same time, and then at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock that afternoon they're all going back up past again. So we've got to try and address that, make some sort of place where they can come for half a day to stay or whatever. I said it's their family home, so we're always facing the balance, trying to make the balance between the two, because that's still important as a selling point. We do castle tours in the summertime, and it's quite funny, if you just join in the back of one of the tours, and you're going around there, and they're getting the tour, and the people will be saying, "Look, you'd have thought that I'd cleaned the house up before they let us in. Now books and newspapers are lying everywhere." And then you go into the next room and somebody say, "Isn't it great that all the magazines and books are sitting everywhere? It's just like a lived-in home, and the children's toys are all over the place. Not something you normally see." So that's the general public for you. You see, you just can't provide for everybody. Economic climate is a challenge for us, but again, as I say in the Glens, we're as thick as chump. We need to get out there and try and try and bring it to us, because it's definitely not going to come to you. It's all about determination and just searching for it and keep working at it. Fixed costs, we're always looking at trying to reduce those. And as you said earlier there, working with everybody is important. We need to work with as many people as we possibly can, hotels and B&Bs. That's the secret to success. A large marketing budget doesn't always do it. Sometimes you can be very successful with absolutely no money. That's what we have found. Anyway, after I spent some money and it didn't work. So I completely agree with what you're saying. You don't really need a big marketing budget to get it to work sometimes. And target marketing then is obviously trying to reach out to the people that are closest to you and who would be most likely to come and visit you and stay in the area. And somebody mentioned earlier, I just want to let them know, I can verify there is a toilet crisis in Northern Ireland. Because we did try to hire toilets for our events this year, and there are absolutely none to be got. I'm told they're shipping them in from Japan, so I hope they're here in time. That's all I've got. Thank you very much.